Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Robby. This is my craft corner. And today we're gonna be turning this moving mouth mask that I got from Spirit Halloween into Roxanne Wolf. And today we have my friend Moonstar Dusk, who's actually a professional Roxy expert, pretty much. She's made multiple Roxy cosplays and she's made them very freaking good. She's supposed to be arriving any minute now through the teleporting closet. I think that's her!
What's up, dudes? I'm here to rock on!
So Dusk, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I'm a 2D animator, as also a costume fabricator, but mostly I'd rather be a mascot performer since it's pretty cool, since I love bringing the characters to life and bringing the magics.
Okay. Wow, that's so cool. You're a jack of all trades, really.
Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, I love doing what I do and making people smile.
Yeah, Luna has a really cool YouTube channel, and she does like a bunch of really cool stuff, and you should definitely go check out her channel. So, the reason I brought you here today is we're gonna try and make this cheap Spirit Halloween mask that I got into Roxanne Wolf. Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is possible.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Well, let's go down to the basement and start this transformation. Come on, follow me! Welcome to my spooky craft basement.
Yo.
Okay, so here's our fox boy. So, Dusk, what would you recommend us to do first?
I'd recommend removing first the fur and start thinking on the shell.
Like the shape, the general shape of Roxanne Wolf?
Exactly.
Okay, so we just have to, like, carefully take it off, right?
Yeah, carefully taking off and removing the glue inside the shell to pattern the new form.
Should I just rip it off, or do you think we should...
First, we should try getting a hairdryer and, like, melt the hot glue inside to remove it safely.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab a hairdryer. Oh yes, this'll do nicely. Okay, just go ahead and unwrap this. So we just have to heat up the glue?
Little by little. See how it's working?
Oh wow!
Do not be aggressive on the head. And if it was a heat gun, it would melt the plastic.
Yeah, it would. Oh, wow. Okay, and, she's bald! Do we keep this?
No.
Should I just...
That can go to the trash.
I can just wear this mask.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That is so creepy. I kind of want to put it on. I'm gonna try this on really quick. Wow, this is honestly kind of terrifying. This really gives some, like, Chainsaw Massacre vibes.
Please, stay away from me like that.
I'm wearing your face! Wow, this is really creepy. There's like no... Ugh. Anyway, okay, let's get back to making this mask. Okay, so this is looking pretty, a little scary actually, not gonna lie. So we're just gonna remove the rest of the hot glue residue using the good old hairdryer. And, maybe a little bit of pliers to help pull it off so I don't burn myself. Okay, so now that we got pretty much all the hot glue residue off, what's the next step?
For the next step, we're going to actually trace Roxy's head to make a pattern to know what we're gonna cut with our upholstery foam.
Okay, so we're just gonna take a pencil and trace it out first?
Yep, basically. So this version of Roxy is based on the ruined cutouts we see in the gameplay while you get in the Roxy Raceway level when Cassie has to get out to the raceway and find Roxy to save Gregory, aka the Mimic. This version of Roxy is mostly like the concept they based for building the animatronic in the game.
That looks so good. I don't know how you draw so good, but this turned out so this is turning out so good.
I mean, years of being in the animation industry, I learned to draw fast, and like imagine drawing like 100 frames per day or even more, and in crunch time. Oh god, the memories. I usually remember the phrase one of my animator friends, Tom Warburton, creator of Kids Next Doors, when I met him back in 2016, he said something really important. If you want to get good, you have to practice it every day. And if you want to draw good, like make sure you draw something every day. It doesn't matter, it's like a 30-second sketch on a napkin, or a 3-hour drawing, or like a whole day drawing. Just do something. Never stop. Because if you stop doing something, you basically will get rusty. And the more frequent you do something and practice something, you'll eventually get even better every day.
That's so cool. So this is just years and years of learning how to draw and sketch. And when you worked at Disney, you actually learned how to draw like really good, and you did a lot of practicing with that, right?
I already knew how to draw good once I entered Disney, and there I just only had to basically mimic the style of animation for Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur, which was basically a 2D version of what it would be like Into the Spider-Verse, but completely 2D, used with a lot of new techniques.
Interesting.
Like, for example, this process would be basically being the cleanup of the sketch. In animation, we have the storyboard, animatic, rough, and then we have the cleanup, then compositing, and then the editing. But all works as a team. Some do the rough, the others do the cleanup, add color, the tie down, and more to have like a completed cartoon.
But you actually know how to do pretty much all of it?
Pretty much. I even currently starting my own projects. Like, I'm currently developing my own video game, and basically it's the same thing as in animation. You have all the different departments. And since right now it's only me and one of my best friends working together, it's taking more time, but once I get into it, I'll be able to make it faster.
Wow, that's so cool. I'm really excited to see this video game that you're putting together, and like how, I don't know, just like hear about like, well, I mean, you've already told me about the concept, but like, I'm really excited to see it like come to fruition.
It's gonna be pretty cool, pretty lit. If you like FNAF, you're gonna love this game.
Honestly, Luna, you did such a freaking good job drawing this. This turned out so good. So we're gonna turn this into this.
Basically that concept.
So what's the next thing we have to do to transform this to this?
We can start either way, like starting doing the foam, or first like cutting out the form of the eyes. We can even add like different expressions, like doing eyelids and putting magnets.
I like that.
I mean, the benefit of this head is like it basically already has the form. It's just like making it more cartoony.
Okay, now it's time for me to Dremel these bad boys out. A boopity boop. A boopity boop.
So now we're actually going to pattern the cheeks in the sideburns so we can have the pattern to do it in a upholstery foam.
So now we're just gonna trace this onto the foam, and then is it like mirrored on the other side?
Exactly.
Oh wow, okay. So we just go ahead and grab our foam, place our stencil on there, and then I'm sure we just kind of want to trace it at the very edge. That way we don't use a lot of foam. I'll go ahead and hold it down for you. Now we're just gonna take our blade and cut these bad boys out.
Yeah, no, cutting in camera is much harder.
It really is. Yeah, you have to make sure that's
Because you have to see the angle and cutting at the same time while also seeing not to cut yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever cut it yourself with that knife?
This one,
with a box cutter in general.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I've sliced myself so many times crafting.
I mean, you can recognize the crafter hand for the scars in the hand.
Yeah.
I will never be a hand model.
I'll never be a hand model now.
Like, I've gotten so used to hand burns and all that, and I don't even feel the heat anymore.
Dang. Okay, first one's done, and I'm gonna go ahead and let Moondusk do the second one. Okay, so now we have both of her little side cheeks. What do you think? That looking pretty good?
Now we're going to trim them down and make them rounder. It's mostly like sculpting, like make it like smooth round so it doesn't have sharp edges.
Moon actually put little marks on there for me. That way I know exactly where to glue them. And you said not to get it on this mechanism. What about down here? Do I glue it to that?
Like that.
It doesn't look like the rivets rotate, but this thing does.
Oh yeah.
So if I get it on the rivet, it's okay? Or just try to avoid this part in general?
Yeah, no, avoid this part like it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, I thought like the rivets rotated.
Boopity boop. Maybe give it a little bit of leeway here. Ah! Well, you guys know what they say. It's not a Robby video unless I burn myself with a hot glue gun. Now we're just gonna take some foam and kind of fill in this area a little bit. Okay, so now we kind of do a little bit of sculpting with the foam. That's pretty smooth. It's coming out like so much better than how I would do it. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. That's like crazy. Just the shaping's really good. Now we're gluing on her snoot. Right there. Do you want some in here? What happened? Oh, it ripped?
No, then it's moving this way.
Oh, shit.
Here?
How's that?
And here.
In here?
Perfect.
Shaping. We're shaping. Shaping, shaping, shaping. Shaping. We're shaping. Okay, so we got the basic shape down, and now it's time to do the ears. Okay, so Dusk went ahead and did one ear, and I'm going to go ahead and copy it and do the other ear.
Yes!
So now we're going in and we're kind of carving out the inside of the ear, and we're gonna have like a little divot right here.
Exactly.
Okay, and now our ears are definitely more ear-shaped. So now we have to go in and fill the inside with some EVA foam.
You think smack?
For this, we're using 2mm. For this, we're using 2mm, which is extremely thin. But yeah, we just gotta trace the inside of this to... So yeah, we just have to trace the inside of the ear to the inside of the foam and cut that bad boy out. Perfect. Okay, so now we have the EVA foam fit nice and snugly inside there. We're gonna go ahead and take this out and add some wire. We're just gonna bend it to fit inside the ear just like that. Go ahead and snip that off. By adding the wire, we make it more rigid and also posable. Okay, so now that we have Roxanne pretty much all shaped out, it's time for us to start putting on the fabric. So we have to make a pattern. Now normally, the way that I've done it in the past is I'll put cellophane over everything, and then I'll put duct tape over that, and then I cut everything off to how I want to pattern it. But Dusk actually has a way better way of doing it that basically cuts out a whole step. What do you do?
Blue tape.
So Dusk, what do you do different?
Blue tape.
Oh! So you basically use the blue tape so you can just stick it on there and it won't mess up the foam?
Nope, it wouldn't mess anything and easier to cut.
I wish I knew about this earlier. Well, I guess it's time for us to cover this in some tape.
going to pattern out the different colors of her fur to cover the face.
Now that Dusk is making marks where I need to cut, I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, perfect. Now that we have our marks exactly where we need to cut, I'm gonna go in and cut everything out.
I wouldn't recommend with scissors.
Oh, don't use scissors? Okay, use a blade?
Yeah.
Okay. Once we get the tape free, we're gonna carefully stick it to this paper. So now we're just going in and outlining everything in Sharpie. We're also leaving just a little bit of room on the outside for seam allowance. Patterns are done, now it's time for fabric. I couldn't even really tell myself, but Dusk showed me that the fabric is actually going this way. How could, huh?
It has a polarity.
It has a polarity? What does that mean?
Polarity is the direction. It's like positive, negative.
Mmm.
You heard the like, oh, we have to change the polarity. We're turning into negative, like the opposite way.
Okay. So apparently the polarity.
Although it's like, that would be like backwards. It's like the
direction?
of the fabric.
Okay. So you could just kind of feel which way the fabric was going, and it kind of sits at a natural state when it goes this way. Now we're going to put them together using some Wonder Clips. So why do you prefer Wonder Clips over safety pins?
Because you can manipulate them easily and take them off and without pinching you. Mostly the pinching.
Oh, like poking yourself?
Yeah. Like going and then get blood on the on the build. That's why I prefer them. Okay, the eyes are there. Cool. And then like that, I was like, free. Why did you
Now that we got everything Wonder Clipped together, it's time to sew everything. It's coming together. Ah! Oh yes, all wonder pinned up and ready to sew. She really is coming together. Now that Dusk got everything sewn together and it's looking absolutely fantastic, now it's time to start gluing it down.
Bring this down.
Okay, pull this back just a little bit. Just let me know. Oh, cool.
Spread it like that. All right.
That's enough?
And here's like we have to use a minimum of glue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's way too much. Like
That's too much? You
yeah.
need to pull some off?
yeah, because we don't want it to be humid like that.
Okay.
And here's like we're doing strategic glue spots.
Okay, okay.
Right here, hold it.
Yeah.
Let's switch to.
Yeah, I'm down to switch. And then you can kind of show me how you do it.
Sure, how I do it is like I don't use many. Like I use a minimum. That and minimum. That and then.
Oh, is it cool if you stand more this way? Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Now we push it.
Push it down.
Yeah, now we glue it. That area. Up, up.
I'll move it up a little bit. Right there. Okay.
And we have like that because if we had a lot of glue, it would be noticeable, like the glue spot, the glue stain.
Mmm.
Faster.
Now Roxy's head is all furred. It's time to start on the eyes. For this, we're gonna use my goggles that I wear in pretty much every single video. We're just gonna pop out the lenses really quick. Oh yes, that ought to do it. We went to FedEx earlier and we printed out these sticker eyes. We printed out a couple different variations just to see how they look. A little something like that. Wow, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so now I'm gonna make Roxy's little nose. Just the very tip of it. We're gonna make a new one just because her old nose is a little sunken in now. For this, instead of using a ball pit ball like I normally do, I'm gonna try using some foam clay. Ah yes. Moldable, easy to use foam clay. Ah yes, so satisfying. We're just gonna go over to our Roxy and put the clay foam right on her nose. Okay, go for it.
And sculpt the base.
Ah, yes. That's looking pretty good. Ah, yes, now we have a perfect little mold of the inside. And I'm gonna start sculpting it and making the little nose holes using a paintbrush. Probably just the back part, honestly. Go ahead and make the holes very carefully. Shape it out a little bit. Okay, so now Dust is going to show me how to smooth out the nose a little bit.
You grab a glass of water and just start smoothing. Here, feel it?
Oh, okay. So you just use the water to kind of smooth out the clay. I see, I see. Very nice. That's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. It does a chemical reaction to make it more sticky and smooth. Science!
Okay, so Dusk actually ended up fixing this nose for me. I couldn't get it right. She got it absolutely perfect though. Now we're gonna carefully remove it. I'm gonna use a little needle, and I'm just kind of going underneath and really taking my time. I don't wanna mess up this nose. I'm just going with a needle and carefully separating the air dry clay. That way I can take the nose off. And there we go. Be very, very careful. Now we're gonna let it dry a little bit and harden, and then we get to painting. Okay, so now we're gonna paint the nose, but first we have to prime it with some Plasti Dip. We're gonna use some black gloss spray paint to make it black.
Right now, we just brush the fabric so we can hide the seam, so it becomes invisible.
Wow, that's gone! That's like gone! Where did it go?
First, we're going to cut out the pattern of the eyelashes. Afterwards, we're going to use a purple minky over the eyelid and stick it on there. Then we use black minky fabric and cut out tiger lines. Now that we're done with this, we're going to add it to the face.
Okay, now that we got the eyebrows and the tiger lines and everything pieced together and glued on, it's time to start on the eyeballs. First, we're gonna make an outline of the eye with some paper, and then we're gonna transfer it to some really thin 5mm foam. Preferably white if you can. Make a cutout. And then you were saying that we should cut it out like a little bit bigger, right?
Regular scissors for that. Is that the fabric scissors?
But you said cut it a little bit bigger, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you want it to be kind of like behind it. Like that. That looks great. Cut the inside iris of the eye hole. it to be completely white with spray paint. Once we get the white base down, we're gonna go ahead and stick on the sticker that we cut out from our sheet. No, I was so close. Okay, so now that we have the eye all done, we're gonna have to fit the back so that the lens will fit on it. So we're just gonna go in and take our soldering iron and kind of melt this so that it's a little bit more flat. Oh well, yeah, that's working really good. Oh, let me turn this on too.
I guess you're intimidated of the soldering, right?
Here, I'll put this on. Can you see still?
Yeah.
I mean, nah, it's not too intimidating. Here. Move it that way a little bit. To the left. Perfect, okay. All right.
You can see now, it is perfectly beveled for the lens to fit. Boop.
Okay, so now it's time to fur the ears. There's a couple different ways to do this, but the way that we're gonna do this today is essentially we're just gonna wrap it around the ears and kind of cut away everything we don't need. Maybe make a little outline with the Sharpie to help us out. And then we're gonna take our EVA foam that we painted earlier and just put it over the fabric to kind of hide the seam a little bit. That's gonna look absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Wow, that's perfect. Okay, let's do this. Okay, now we're gonna stick the top part on. And there we go, we now have a posable ear. Boopity boop, yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, now that we have our ears together, we have to make the little earrings that go on each side. So for this, I'm gonna use some O-rings. Oh yes, about this size should do it. Go ahead and clip them. Boopity boop. They're a little flimsy. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take some of these pins and then cut off some of the end bit. Then using a pair of pliers, I'm gonna carefully shove it into the O-ring. So now, it'll just pin right in. Yeah, that should do it. That's not bad. Now I'm gonna go ahead and spray paint this bad boy.
Now we're going to make Roxy's pearl earrings with air dry foam. Now we make a sphere, let it dry, paint, and done.
Okay, now we're gonna put the ears on. To determine where I put the ears, I kind of went off of the reference photo, and then I realized that her eyebrows kind of almost lead into the ears. So that's kind of how I decided where they go. I'm gonna use these wires to kind of help them stay on. So using a Sharpie, I'm gonna make the tiniest little mark. And I'm gonna carefully drill out where I'm gonna put the wire. Okay, the drill isn't really working, so we're gonna try and make a hole a different way.
Maybe not.
Oh, there we go. Haha. Well, don't use a drill, I guess. That was a wrong idea.
On fabric.
Yeah. I'm just using a screwdriver to kind of carefully make a hole. That way I don't screw up the fabric and everything. That wasn't too bad. If you feel really determined, I guess you could also just use the wire to push it in. Okay, looking pretty good. Now we just do the other side. It's looking pretty good. Now we just do the other side. Okay, her ears are on. If you guys notice, we made the right one just ever so slightly longer because we're gonna have her green hair going over. That way you can see her ear a little bit better. Now we're gonna take the nose that we made earlier and hot glue it on. Wow, that's already looking so much better. Boop, boop. Be real careful.
Oh, my finger.
Careful, SpongeBob. Careful, SpongeBob. Careful, SpongeBob. Careful, SpongeBob. SpongeBob, careful. Careful. Careful, SpongeBob. SpongeBob, careful. Careful, SpongeBob. SpongeBob, careful. Okay, now gonna carefully stick her on there. And her nose is on. That looks fantastic. So now we're adding some black hot glue to kind of like the gums and the lips. It's kind of hard to film because it's really in there and we have to be really precise.
Now we're going to add magnets to our eyelashes so that Roxy can change expressions.
We're having a hard time to get the magnets to actually work with this because we don't think they're quite strong enough. I just kind of went in and found a spot that I could slip the magnet in from underneath, and then I slipped it to where I wanted it under the eyebrow. Sweet. Okay, now it's time to glue in the eye. Just gonna carefully insert it.
And lastly, time to add eyeliner using EVA foam.
Okay, so now it's time to work on the hair. For this, we're actually working on the ground because we're gonna need quite a bit of space. We're gonna go ahead and put this side down. So how big is the first pattern gonna be? Okay, now it's time to cut all the patterns out. For this, we're just cutting on the back side and we're using kind of like a box cutter. That way we don't mess up the fur on the front.
Yeah, nice.
Perfect. This one's working really good. If you want to use like one of these smaller X-Actos, or not X-Actos, the smaller box cutters, it's pretty nice. How's that? Is this okay?
Perfect.
Okay, one down. Now 29 to go, because there's 30 total.
Now that we have everything cut, time to brush it to bring the hair the right direction. Now it's time to get sewing. And finished. One down, 29 to go. Oh man.
Okay, and while Dusk is working on that, then we have to flip all of them inside out. Oh my gosh, this is definitely gonna be a little harder than I expected. Well, that's not too bad. Okay. Pulling it out. I bet I could come up with a slightly faster way to do this. Yeah, a stick or like a wire. I think I'm gonna use a little pole to help push out the hair. Ah, there we go. And that's how you make one strand of hair. Okay, now we're gonna fill this with a little bit of polyfill. Boopity boop. How full do we want this? Just like enough to like...
Like not super filled.
Okay. Not
So
super,
you like to
super.
have, like some hair movements.
Okay. We're not going to fill it too much. We're just going to put enough so that it kind of gives it a little bit of volume. Okay, cool. Now do that to 29 more of them. To make the process faster, I'm actually going to be doing this while Dusk sews them together. Teamwork. Yay! Okay, we have Roxy attached to my dummy, and now we're gonna start giving her hair. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn her around. Oh gosh. So the first thing we have to do is grab some Velcro, and then we're gonna glue it onto the top of her head, and then we're gonna get some gray fabric, and then use this almost as a wig cap, and then we're gonna glue all the individual strands of hair to this piece of fabric. That way we can actually take it off whenever we need to with the Velcro. Woo! She's almost done! She's just missing her single green strand right here, and we're gonna go ahead and make that really quick. It's basically the same way that we made these. Okay guys, so here's our blueprint, and this is how she turned out. And Dusk even decided to make an entire outfit to go with it. You did a fantastic job. Okay guys, so I was gonna show you how it looks in comparison to the original mask, but I don't have the original mask because it's now turned into this one. So we're actually gonna go into Spirit Halloween and see how it looked originally and kind of compare the two. Come on, let's go. Oh my gosh, is that Freddy Fazbear?
With this ring, I ask to be masked.
Okay guys, so this is how the original looked, and this is how she turned out. Oh my gosh, look at the difference. We really changed a lot on her, I'm not gonna lie. Wow! Okay guys, thanks so much for watching the video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Listen to this file right down there. If you guys want to see a full video of Roxy walking around Spirit Halloween, Dusk actually made a full video of her doing that. You guys can check that out right here. Make sure to go subscribe to her channel and hit that like button. And down in the comments down below, let us know who you guys want me to make next, and I might just do it in the next video. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again in the next video. Peace, love, and Wi-Fi. Awkward editing. Okay, bye! Ah!
Robby.
Yo!
That's Robby right here.
Thank
Robby. Look at Tony, it's Robby. Follow Robby.